Now, adverb, and I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Technically,
And that part about Mary Magdalene when she sees Jesus for the first time, I just think that neither one of them knew who they were. I have no reason not to believe that was a like, oh my gosh moment. Like, is that you?
I read
Yeah.
a paper one time on the gardener of the tomb areas was always a Roman
Summer fruits.
soldier, usually retired.
Is
And the reason why she would have thought that of him is because of the hair. Romans were known for shaving. They actually scraped their beards off, and there would have been no hair on his face because it was ripped from him during the crucifixion. So when he was raised from the dead, he wouldn't have grown a beard back. I mean, literally, especially with a new body. But when she looked at him, I mean, I think about sometimes when I have my beard all grown out and I shave it off, and people look at me and do triple checks and shit.
Yeah.
and her looking at him, supposing him being the gardener, makes perfect sense with that analogy because he literally was clean faced and he was in the tomb area. So she thought he was the assigned person, the Roman person in charge of the grave area.
remember too that this is way before dawn, and they didn't have artificial lighting.
Yeah.
Whatever was there was there, and
Yeah.
it could have been that dark that they just did not recognize each other.
I mean, if I get in enough darkness, I'll even think that John Tudor's good looking.
It would have been a
Right.
full moon, though. It would have been a full moon.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
the month always began the first at the new moon, the first sighting of the crescent moon, and so the full moon was always halfway through the month. So it would have been a very full moon. So that is a possibility that she would have not been afraid, thinking he was a gardener and all that. But
It all night.
What was that?
what's that?
I want to know what he did all night. He was up all night. He did something. I'll bet you it's in the Hebrew writings. I'll bet you somewhere in there, whatever it was he did is written.
Mm-hmm.
He came to
Well, we know-
the world and witnessed to the Indians.
Yeah, right?
Well,
Now,
we know he went.
at some point or another, he went and witnessed to the devil spirits in his resurrected body.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, we know
but I want to know what he did that night, and I'm gonna be thinking about that as I'm reading, and you guys help too as you're reading Hebrew writings and stuff, or the Christian. What in the heck did he do from 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon until the wee morning hours that he appeared to Mary?
Or if he got up just before sundown on Saturday, it could have been anywhere from 6 to 9 hours.
Yeah,
Right there,
yeah.
where we're talking about. Something like that.
I'm going to do
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I want to do that 40 days and 40 nights, or 40-day teaching. It's still not perfected, but it's good enough to do, and it's short. But I want to do that sometimes before or after the day of Pentecost. I want to do Pentecost on the day of Pentecost, but
Right.
40 days or 40 nights, and I want to work on it. So I've got the Pentecost teaching pretty well done. I mean, it's good. I just I'm like you. I just keep finding new stuff and throwing it in there. But I want to keep that as simple as possible because that's my home base for progressive revelation. That's like
Mhm, mhm.
God has been waiting for 4,000 years for this day. But, and it started as a seed. And look at what those Hebrew writings turned that seed into.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The seed of Abraham and
Mhm.
come out of the tribe of Judah and be
Mhm.
out of the seed of David. And it just goes
Mhm.
on. It gets more and more defined as it goes.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, you guys think about that when you're. I'm going to show you this too. Don started to show it. This is the opening web page of our new site.
Okay.
Is that a beautiful picture?
I like that.
It's just so peaceful. And I mean, a little boy walking with Jesus, and what is he interested in? The squirrel. And and then he's just kind of looking at him with that pleasant. I mean, it's just a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's so true. Kids, you take them for a walk, and what you ought to do is just let them, when they want to stop and look at something, let them,
Oh yeah.
because you'll see that they're just fascinated with life.
Well, the one thing that caught Franco's attention when he saw this picture was that Jesus was in his attire for his culture at that time, but the little boy has clothes that kids wear today.
Ah.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Really cool. Anyways, I encourage you guys to check that website out. It's
Yeah, really.
Definitely will. Absolutely. Yep.
Like I said, Mike and I sat through a tutorial on the website. If you guys have any problems with it, get a hold of one of us.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right.
Are any errors? Franco says he needs some good eyes.
Yeah, if you get into it and you start playing around, something's wrong. Just send Don or I a note because we're just going to forward it to Franco. I mean, you can send Franco a note too.
Or Dana.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Dana. She sat through the same tutorial we did.
Yeah, but y'all are my favorite geeks. Don, I always love hearing when you share that.
What's that? Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir. I said, I always love when you share the 3 days.
Thank
Just, well, it's just, I mean, that's part of our hope is what happened in those 3 days.
Oh.
What happened afterwards. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
It changed everything.
yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It changed everything, and then 40 days later, Pentecost changed everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Adam messed up, and then God made that first announcement of the baby, and then He made sure that everything was. He protected the nation of Israel until the baby was born. That's why the Old Testament doesn't talk about the other nations much, because it was all about Israel and all about the baby. And then the baby came, and then he died just like he was supposed to, and the devil fell for the trap, and then God raised him from the dead and said, "Gotcha." You thought you were winning when you killed him, and you just fell right into my plan. That's just awesome.
Devil had no idea what was coming.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
And then to see from the scriptures that he really was in the grave 3 days and 3 nights, it's just the best for me. It just really, it's exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah, John, just
Probably
like
like y'all when you were little, you just
Mm.
maybe you went to church and you just recited things even from memory and never even thought if it was true or if it wasn't true.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yeah.
retarded. I didn't learn to count to 3 till I took the Power for Abundant Living class anyway, so it really didn't matter.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Don, I was exactly the same. One of the reasons I quit going to church was the 3 days and 3 nights.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
It made no sense.
it's in your face this time of year, and they always take it and just mutilate it. They can't. I just I don't know why. I don't understand that. Why somebody wouldn't want to know the truth.
Traditions.
And
You and I, we want the truth, but there's a lot of people who just want traditions.
just tell me what to believe.
Yep.
Yeah. How boring is that?
Pretty much to write it all down for us.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
too lazy to go look at it for myself.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was in the 9th grade when me and Marty Pavlak, we were both in a public school then. Both started in a private school and went to a public school, and we were having a debate. It was the science against the Bible, and basically evolution versus creationism. So we went to Father Gornick, our hero, and he was the priest of the local church. And Father, if you ever want to know who Father Gornick is, he actually has a part at the end of Night of the Living Dead. But anyways, Father Gornick, we go and we said, hey, we really want to win this debate. We want you to load us down. We'll take notes. We'll come extra time. We'll do everything. And he looked at us and said, you can't win. And I went, shit, then what the hell? I was an older boy and I did all this stuff and I've been so faithful. What the heck? And so I said, if that's the case, I remember taking that first class, the foundational class, and getting through with that class. And the first thought I had was, damn it, if I'd have known this, I'd have won that debate. I would have
Yeah. Yeah.
put the information in that class.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely. A lot of lives changed for the better from that class.
Oh man, just in everyday sense. I mean, think about
Oh yeah.
were those 40 some years ago, and
Yeah.
we have, ready for this, progressively come to a better understanding.
Say what you want to about them. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I dare say none of us would be.
I dare say we definitely wouldn't be together. And
Yeah.
God,
Wouldn't be together, that's for sure. But and we wouldn't be on the same path that we're on now.
Amen.
I mean, we might still be Christians, but you know.
I'd have been king of the world. I was going in that direction.
I'd be in jail.
Mm,
Ruth,
but yeah, it's just so peaceful to know how to read the scriptures and how to study the scriptures and being able to tell the difference between truth and error.
yes.
Just that alone is worth the price of entry, the entry fee or whatever.
Yeah.
Truth from error, being able to tell the difference from truth from error.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I know one person I read today about 3 days and 3 nights and stuff said that what convinces him that Friday is the day of the crucifixion is that it was the preparation day. And I thought, well, that's kind of short-sighted, because there's preparation days for more so than for the high days, for the feast festivals and stuff, than there ever was for the weekly Sabbath day. The weekly Sabbath day, they had to gather more food and stuff, and so they could prepare twice as much for the weekly Sabbath day, so that they'd have leftovers. But for the high Sabbaths, for the feasts, Feast of Weeks, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and all those major feasts and stuff, they had to, like, I think it was like 2 weeks, they had to start out, and they had to do this and do that and fulfill this and fulfill that and be clean so they could be here and not there. And there was a lot to do. Clean their houses and
Well, yes, yeah. But not only that, but they don't understand how Passover week actually ran, because, and I got a calendar here, but that Passover week was a huge week. I mean, it was a huge to do. It just wasn't that one day, you know. You had the Feast of the Unleavened Bread and all the stuff that had to be done for all of these different things. That's why you had a special Sabbath day. And I mean, they just don't get that.
If they'd ever had a Christmas party, even with a lot of family or friends, they would know they just didn't wake up that morning and throw it all on the table.
Yeah. 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 A lot of preparation went involved. Yeah, absolutely. But there was preparation for both those Sabbath days. So to say that he died on the preparation day doesn't prove which Sabbath day he died before at all.
In fact,
You have to go with the immediate context and the remote context to fill in the blanks and connect the dots, and voila, there's the picture. You start connecting the dots, and the real image starts to come off the pages. It's very enlightening.
doesn't it say it was a special Sabbath?
Yeah, I think the NIV calls it a special Sabbath, and King James calls it a high Sabbath or a high day.
Yeah, high day, which means a special Sabbath. Yeah.
Yeah. But one was an annual Sabbath, and the other one was a weekly Sabbath.
I like it the way Dr. Werrell used to describe it. Christmas. It can be on Wednesday. It can be on Thursday. It can be on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see your calendar has all those weeks too. I think the year of Jesus' ministry was a sabbatical year. Is that not right? So there was a lot of people working.
62 weeks is what Dave said. It's the determination is upon 62 weeks. That would have been actually from his baptism. It's really kind of cool, because if you go back to 27 AD, and you would have had his baptism would have marked the first week. So after his baptism, which would have been done on the first day of week, all the way up to his crucifixion, you would have had a total of 62 weeks. Now, his ministry didn't officially start at his baptism. His ministry officially started in Luke after he went out to the wilderness, if you remember, for 40 days and 40 nights.
Yeah.
Came back into town, and he officially started his ministry. So there you have a lamb of the first year. But from the going forth of the word, that's John, unto the death of Jesus Christ, there was exactly 62 weeks, and it's really, really, really fascinating to go through that, because the 70th week literally would have brought us to the day of, after the 70th week, it would have literally brought us to the day of Pentecost. And from everything I can tell from the prophecy in Daniel, the 70th week is when Jesus Christ was supposed to return with his entire army, and it didn't happen. I mean, it didn't happen.
Surprise!
Right.
Got something better
Yeah.
for a little
So-
while.
So we're still missing. And again, it translates into 7.5 years because of the weeks and years thing, which I don't profess to really understand that. But we've got 7.5 more years after we jettison out of Spot before he's going to actually fulfill the 70th week of Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Then we come back and reign with him for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Hot
And then,
damn.
yeah, and then if you read Daniel, if you look at this, it's really kind of cool the way the numbers all fit together, because literally he was murdered. He never made it through the 63rd week, so he was murdered. He was taken away, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks in between that. Before the 70th week, from the 63rd to the 70th, that's 7 weeks. And when you say it's actually, I'm just pointing this out, it's actually 7.5 weeks if you look at the midweek crucifixion, right? So you've got literally 7.5 weeks. And if you turn that into the weeks of years that Daniel prophesied of, that's 7.5 years where he picks up where he prophesied. In other words, it'd be from the time of his death and resurrection, it'd be 7.5 years and of tribulation period. And he would return to rescue Israel. The way it all fits together is amazing.
Good night.
Good night, John.
Thank
Love you guys. Dana,
Yeah.
see y'all tomorrow night.
Well, I think John's got the right idea.
Yep.
Good night, everyone.
I'm going to hate myself this morning. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, that's good enough.
All right. Good job, Don. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
excellent,
you.
excellent. I'm going
Thank
to
you.
be promoting your book this week.
Alrighty.
I'm
Maybe you can edit out some of those little pauses I had.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm going to take those out.